I have some reading tips I want to share with you about how to nurture a love of reading at different stages in your child's life. The first one is keep your books in all different places throughout your house so your child can access them throughout the day. Um, my son has bookshelves in his room, but we also have this box of books that we keep in our living room. He knows that he can come and pick up a book anytime and look through it himself and pretend to read it or bring it to me and ask me to read it to him. If your child is ever reluctant to try out a new book, you might consider starting with the pictures. So my son's almost 3, and I recently introduced him to The Prince's Bedtime, which is longer than a lot of books that he reads. What I did when he would start to fuss about reading it is I would just kind of turn to the beginning, and I would point at different things and just comment on it and say, oh, look, there's cookies, which is, of course, one of his favorite things. And as we looked through the pictures, about halfway through, he would start letting me actually read him the text. Another idea, especially for toddlers or preschoolers, is to combine music with stories. Regularly exposing kids to music improves their verbal intelligence, their emotional intelligence, their body movements, and it can also just interest them more in a book because it's so much fun. Driving My Tractor is one of our favorite sing-alongs around here. And like all the Barefoot sing-along books, it comes with a CD that you can play in a CD player or a computer so that you can learn the song. So let's say that your child is starting to read on their own, just beginning. And you might think, oh, well, now I just need to let my child read on their own so they can practice. But this is one of the most important times to keep reading out loud to your child. One of the reasons is for the bonding. But also, a lot of early readers are not terribly interesting because the words have to be really short, and so it might give your child the idea that reading is not very interesting. So if you can read something longer to them that they're not ready to do on their own, for example, this early reader book of ours has paragraphs on each page and a little bit longer words, so they might not be ready for that. But there's a lot of humor in this story. And so if you're reading it to them, it keeps them thinking about how reading is fun and it's something they want to keep learning how to do. And then finally, if your child is beyond that and learning to read, you want to help them keep tackling whatever the next level is for them. So that can be a little intimidating sometimes for a kid. So you might take a longer chapter book like Arthur of Albion and maybe read the first couple of chapters to them. And then when it gets to be their regular reading time, that's bedtime at your home, you could tell them they have a choice. They can either pick a different book to read, or they could pick up where you left off and keep reading this one. And if you've sparked their interest, they're probably going to pick the book that you read to them. So I hope those tips are helpful. I would love to hear what else you found works with your kids.